What's happening? Yeah, what's happening? What's that? That's it, you got it.
What is up, everybody? My name is Dane Thompson. Welcome back to another episode of What's Happening. This is the weekly web series thing where I fill you in on all the gaps here on the BurnDown YouTube channel. And trust me, we've got some gaps these days. So let's jump right into it. If you watch this week's video, my buddy William from Greaser Thoughts Garage came out. So thanks for coming out again, man. And it was funny because I had talked to him a few weeks ago. We've been trying to set this thing up. I met him in Arizona at Zip Tie Drags. Found out he was kind of local. I said, hey, whenever you want to come out, let me know. So he wanted to see the Winnebago. And then, of course, I have to step it up. I'm like, hey, I'll tell you what, when I'm ready to test, do the test burnout, why don't you come out and bring your camera, and then you can help me get some footage. And then I'm not by myself being an idiot trying to do like a burnout in the middle of the street. So he agreed to do it. And lo and behold, like the day before he's supposed to come out, he's like, oh, hey, man, cruising out. Can't wait to see if that thing does a burnout. And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, I kind of spaced. I knew he was coming out. I remembered that. I forgot that I kind of promised to do the burnout. So I was like, well, looks like it's time to throw on the 85, line it out, and we'll have at it. Because I was like, dude's going to be here. That's what he's expecting. That's what we'll do. Well, the Winnebago had other plans. I got on the freaking thing, and I was trying to log and trying to get it to do what it should be doing. And I noticed the fuel pressure was dropping. So anytime I get into RPM, and it was going way down. It wasn't like a couple pounds off. It was dipping down to like 40. And then on my Holly, I have it set, if the fuel pressure goes too low, it yanks out like 5 or 7 degrees of timing or something like that. It just yanks a bunch of timing in case I have boost or whatever. So that way we don't actually hopefully blow things up. It's just the safety I set up. So it was actually cutting and yanking timing or whatever. So you could drive it around. If you're normal, it was okay. But as soon as you step on it and you try to be an idiot, it wouldn't work out. So of course, dude shows up. We just do like the around the block thing. He had a hell of a time. He was speechless. His interview was hilarious because we were kind of talking about it, and then he'd like kind of like have a thought and then kind of stop. And I said, "Oh, just hold that thought, dude. Let me fire the camera up." Well, it never got better when I turned the camera on. It was pretty fun. I was laughing, but he had a good time. He was pretty much speechless. He's like, "I don't even know what to say. That thing is just a monster," and it's different in person. You see it on camera, it doesn't look so big, and it's more impressive in real life. Hence the reason it needs to go to LS Fest. That's what we need to do. We need to show up, roll out there, two-step that damn thing, and have some fun with it. So, long story short, after William left, I fixed the turbo drains so the smoke seemed to kind of be fine. Like, I haven't seen it puff. Granted, I haven't really put it on two-step or nothing since, but we were hot dogging it around, driving it up and down, and there's hills and everything, and it seems to have cleared that issue, right? So I'm like, okay, well, we'll just deal with fuel pressure. Well, I was upping the regulator just to see if I could get it to hold, and then all of a sudden it goes from like running to just gurgling, and it's just junk. And then I was like, you know what, I'll just come back to this. And I thought maybe I turned the regulator up too much or something happened or whatever. Anyway, we ended up ripping the diaphragm on the regulator because it was my boy KP Fab and Tune pulled it out of like his rafter and was like, here, don't buy a regulator, I got one. Well, it's just old, so it's just a rubber diaphragm. Luckily, it was a nice regulator that I can rebuild, so I got the rebuild kit for that. And then they have it's a 470 liters, what they call it. It's a Hellcat pump made by Walbro. It's like 150 bucks from eBay. And I figured, maybe the pumps this week will just step it up. And then if there's still not enough fuel, now I got 2 450s, which is way more than enough fuel. So that was my train of thought. So that was Saturday, we're screwing off. I worked on it Sunday or whatever, kind of gave up. Well, fast forward to today. I was messing with it. I got the pump and everything. So yesterday after I worked, I went out there and started thrashing on it, put the pump in. And then when I put the new pump in, I ended up wiring it because I'm like, you know what? I think the wires are too small. So I really think that was the real issue. But I was like, I got the new pump. We'll just do it all at one time. So I put it all together, pull everything out. And it's not easy. It's an in-tank pump. I have to wedge myself in there. Luckily, I don't have to drop the fuel tank because I'm a little dude. But it's hard for me to fit in there. I feel like I call it yoga. I got to do yoga in some weird position. I'm up there trying to get this fuel pump out. And I'd already done it multiple times before, so now I'm putting the new pump in. And I put it all together, put it all in, go to fire it up, the fuel pressure goes to the freaking moon. So I'm like, oh, well, I just had the regulator adjusted. I backed the thing all the way down. Every time I turn it on, the fuel pressure goes to like, I think it was 80 something or like 90 pounds, something crazy. And the thing would chug and not want to run. But then the whole time I was doing this, it's going lean. And I'm like, maybe it's just slamming those injectors shut. But I talked to my buddy KP, and he was like, dude, they should function up to 100 PSI. I'm like, even at idle, like 100 pounds at idle seems like a lot of pressure, you know. But he was like, man, it's got to be that return. So finally I got back under there. I mean, I was trying everything. I tried O2, I tried a different computer, I tried harnesses. I mean, you name it, because I'm like, this is weird. Other than the fuel being high, why is it lean and it's dying? Well, fast forward, we'll save you guys all the drama and trouble. It simultaneously, and I don't even know how this works. So when I put the new pump in, I pinched a return line. It's that little poly line because it's an in tank. It's like a GM tank. So we just went ahead and unplugged that thing. So now it's just draining straight like into the tank. It's just flowing in there. So that fixed the fuel pressure issue, which was a given, you know, because he's like, it's got to be returned. So I figured rails were plugged or injectors, but I went through all of that before I went back to the tank. And I should have went straight to the tank because that's the only thing I was messing with. Everything else was working previously. And then after that happened, when I went to start it while I was messing with it before, one of the grounds to the driver's side coil packs, there's the 2 grounds on a Terminator X. It says grounded directly to the head. I had both of them on there, and I was wiring stuff out and ringing it out, checking for voltage, and I'm like, you know what? Every single time with all CFI stuff, it's always grounds, like 9 times out of 10. So the ground was there, everything was cool, but I was like, I'm just gonna undo it and then just screw the thing, make sure it's clean, you know, make sure the back of the head's good to go or whatever. So sure enough, I unscrewed it, I put it in a different hole, cleaned everything up, zipped it down, I hit the key, and the damn thing ran. So the whole driver's side bank, pretty much I had high fuel pressure, and then the ground, for whatever reason, quit grounding, like at the same exact time. So when you get the twofer, you're lucky, because usually if it's one issue, you just chase that. But when you're messing with stuff and then 2 different things go wrong at the same time, it's like winning the lottery. It's great, especially with fuel injection stuff, when nothing's saying anything's basically wrong. It wasn't saying nothing was wrong, other than it wasn't firing those that bank. And then of course, plugs were like one of the last things I was going to look at. I guess it could have been the first thing, but they're hard to get to in the Winnebago. Anyway, long story short, finally got all that resolved. We got the big boy pump in. We got the wiring that goes to it. I upgraded to, I think it's 12 gauge, but it's not losing pressure now. Everything is good to go. I can get it to like, it was like $4,000, and the thing was just making more and more fuel pressure. So we are good with fuel pressure. I have a tune in it. It sees E85, so I'm hoping that I can put some E85 in tomorrow and it'll see more content and we can go from there. My buddy Matt Happel from Sloppy Mechanics kind of lined out a tune for me and gave it to me, but he's super busy and it was very kind of him to do that. And then when I plugged it in, it wasn't quite working, and then I don't want to be that guy like bothering him. He tried to help me, so I'm like, well, he helped me enough, so now I can help myself. So I just used majority of what he set up, and then I just kind of fudged it a little bit, so we'll see. So if it comes apart, it's definitely not Matt's fault because I have my own little twist on there. But it's still super conservative, but as long as it sees E85, it'll just add timing with content. And then I have a conservative timing table, and we'll just go from there. It's only going to add, I think it was 3 degrees is all I have it adding right now, but if everything works and it's playing nice, then we can have it add maybe a little bit more timing at some point. But again, we're trying to keep it conservative, not trying to blow it to pieces. But the exciting thing is, it makes fuel pressure, goes around the block, it stops, it's going to take E85, and it should be fine. That means the only thing we have left to do really on the driver stuff that I put in there is line lock. And if it has E85 and line lock, that means we can finally probably test the burnout right out from my house. So if we blow the U-joints to pieces, at least I can just drag it back in on my truck. Hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, so we're good. We're getting close on that. And at this point, honestly, I'm so freaking tired that we'll just do one. I'm going to oil up the tires or do whatever to get that thing to kind of spin and go, just so we can put on a little show for you guys. But for the most part, honestly, I really don't want to break this stupid thing because I got 2 months. It is July 1st today, so you're going to be watching this on the 2nd. And I've got like 2 months, literally, before it's got to be road ready, ready to rock and roll all the way to Kentucky. That's if the sky doesn't fall down, and I'm hoping this coronavirus stuff and with flu season coming back, they really don't shut it down. Please don't shut it down. But I'm going to pretend like they're not because I need to be ready. And so that's what we're going to do. I've got 2 months pretty much to get that thing kind of lined out. I have cosmetics and all kinds of fun stuff to do. I got wheels and all that other stuff. Saving up for registration now. And then as soon as it's legal and we have decent tires, we'll probably be hitting the dyno. As long as it fits width-wise, I think my buddy is game to let me stuff that thing on the dyno, so that'll be fun. We're not shooting for big power, but the nice thing about actually being able to dyno it is I have this converter here that I still haven't up, but we're going to get to it, from Florida Converter, and he told me the power range. He said roughly this is like 500 horsepower is what it should hold, but you'll feel it slip. You know, if you're on a dyno, you can see converter slip. I could see it in a log, but it's a lot easier if you're doing it in real time, especially with the dyno. So we'll be able to kind of push it to wherever this thing isn't that excited, and then we can just back it off, and then this should stay hopefully in one piece. Because like I said, we're not trying to shoot for the moon with that thing. We just want to make some decent power. So if this is a limiting factor, that's where we're going to leave it, because I don't have money for a triple disc billet monster, and honestly hopefully don't need it for this. Maybe at some point, but we'll see. We'll see how this converter does, and then especially when it gets to towing. That's the other thing too. At some point before then and now, I'm not going to include it right now because I'm so sick of doing drivetrain on that. I'm going to put a really nice trans cooler, and because it's an X-Max and it has outputs and inputs, the transmission temperature, it monitors it internally, the temperature of the transmission. So I could actually reference that, and then I will put that to a fan, to a relay on the nice transmission cooler like I have on the boom. So on the boom, it's just on all the time, keyed on. Well, on the Bago, I can stuff it up kind of back underneath, and then I still have the cooler that's in the radiator. But if things kind of get warm because there's a hill or whatever, excuse me, if things kind of get warm because there's a hill or whatever, and it sees warm temperatures, it'll just trigger that, and then I'll have a secondary. So when I'm towing or we get in the hills or mountains or whatever, so I don't smoke my transmission. So that is really cool, and then I'll show you guys how we end up doing that when we get there. But on that, since it's not a race car, I have extra inputs and outputs, so I'd like to do fun stuff with it. So that is that. The Malibu's kind of coming along. I've got the hot side on there. Speaking of the hot side, I put up a post and I asked you guys, what color, because I want to paint it. I don't want it black. I wanted it a lighter color than black in case the V-bands leak. Then it'll just get soot on it from the exhaust, and I'll know that the V-bands are junk or not tight or whatever. So it's just an easy telltale that the V-bands are leaking. So I put up all the different color choices, and I said they make clear, so I was like, I could scuff it down so it's shiny, and then do the hot clear coat or whatever. It's for, for exhaust paint. So I thought clear would be cool, but I just put it up for a vote. And so far, last time I checked, Chevy Orange was winning. So by Friday, so if you see this, you need to jump on that post and then vote for what color you want. It's just the VHT heat paint, so look it up. It's like red, orange, blue, white, silver, black, which we're not going to do, and then clear, and then I think that was it. They might have, I don't know if they have yellow or not, but go look it up. Whatever color they make in the VHT that I can get locally, I'm going to shoot it, so the next video you guys will watch me paint it. So right now it looks like it's going to be orange, but hey, whatever you guys pick is what's going to go on the boom, and then we can all kind of laugh about it. And one day when somebody goes, why is that color? It's because of you guys. That's not my fault. That's your fault. So you don't vote, and you're gonna miss out. So other than that, hot side's pretty much done. Put the hater pipe in, cut the hood. I gotta plumb the wastegate into the exhaust, and then I have cold side. Gotta replumb the radiator, and then the fuel lines. So we've got quite a bit to do still on the boom. But if I can just kind of do one thing per day, we'll kind of get that done. And then, like I said, I want to knock out the last few things on the Bago. And then I got to make the windows. The windows don't open because the tracks are all full of dirt. So I got to get in there and scrape all that so we can ventilate the thing. We have to measure for the visor. I want to do, what else are we going to do? We're doing the visor. We were doing, I don't know. Right offhand, I can't think of it. Oh, we got to mount the bumper. Oh, and the grill. I want to make a custom grill. I was thinking about buying a Winnebago Brave. They already have the grill I kind of like that goes all the way across. So I'll kind of see. I might just make a custom one. I already went this far. A custom grill's not going to be the end of the world. Let me know what you guys think on that. So yeah, the grill and the visor, that's the last of the cosmetics. We'll measure up, get the bumper kind of situated. So that goes back on. I got to pull the rear bumper's bent in, so I'll figure out if I can come along, put my truck or something on that, and see if I can pull that kind of back out. That's it. Start scuffing this thing down, getting all the gummy crap. It's like silicone all over it. That's what makes it look real terrible, and all the seams. Somebody siliconed it. Probably saved its life from leaking, but goddamn, it looks ugly. So scrape all that silicone out, clean stuff up. I've got real seam sealer. Get this thing all sealed up, and then start washing it for paint, because I'm not gonna. We're prepping it, but I'm doing the old Ajax with the Scotch-Brite to prep that thing, and then hopefully paint sticks to it. So that is about it. I have been put through the ringer from last week into this week. I finally feel good about the spot that I'm in. Now we're making slow and steady progress. So tomorrow is E85 in the Winnebago. As long as that thing is seeing that, it's liking it, and it's happy. We are getting close. Like I said, a fuel gauge, just a couple little things on the driving, running portion of it, and then we can finally get on to making it look a bit better. And the Malibu, I'm hoping not. I already told my buddy KP, the guy that helps me tune and has the dyno, not this weekend, maybe like the following weekend or week, depending on how things go. But we'll see. We'll see how much time I get to put in on it. It's a holiday weekend this week. I got to pay attention to my family and friends and everything else as well. I can't just be a hermit and hide under my junk for the rest of my life. So then I won't really have any friends. And then you guys will just maybe paint all my stuff weird colors. So other than that, you guys know what to do. Like, subscribe, share. I'm out.